Discoloration, redness, uneven skin tone. What can correct that? Well, kind of depends on the underlying reason, but one of the more common reasons to have discoloration is healing post-acne marks, like the acne has gone away and you have some just discoloration, or maybe you have a resolving contact dermatitis that is left you a little blotchy with hyperpigmentation. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a new product from one of my favorite affordable brands, Peach Slices. Peach Slices is under the sort of umbrella of the company Peach and Lily. I don't know about you guys, but this like sister brand that is a lot more affordable, I find the products to actually be superior to Peach and Lily. Maybe that's just, you know, I'm biased towards things that are more affordable, but I genuinely find the products to be really, really good. So what does this have in it? It's got 3.5% cetyl tranexamic acid. So tranexamic acid, I've got lots of videos talking about it. You know, it's something that we give by mouth for patients who have melasma. It inhibits plasminogen and has an effect on reducing blood vessel formation, a key driver in melasma, and really can help clear up melasma. It can be a game changer for melasma as well as post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. There's taking medication by mouth, but what if we could just put it on the skin? Does that do anything? Truthfully, the research on doing that is limited, and there's always some question about the ingredient, the chemistry of the ingredient. Does it actually get in? But we do have clinical studies on actual human patients who have applied topical tranexamic acid, and they get improvement in post-acne redness, get improvement in the redness of rosacea, and they also have some improvement in discoloration. Now, a lot of that might boil down to the fact that topical tranexamic acid might actually be helpful for the moisture barrier. So patients who have rosacea, they have an impaired skin barrier at baseline, which leads to a lot of their symptoms of heightened sensitivity. And topical tranexamic acid is thought to inhibit serine proteases, which their activity is kind of aberrant with rosacea and other skin conditions, and can end up causing, you know, being a driver of an impaired barrier and subsequent aggravation of the skin disease. That's a big mechanism by which it likely helps with redness, with rosacea, with post-acne marks, is essentially by helping to improve barrier integrity. Also appears to at least have an anti-angiogenic effect as well, meaning inhibit blood vessel formation. Now, of course, a lot of that is going to boil down to the formulation overall, but this product uses something called cetyl tranexamic mesylate, which is not as well studied. I mean, topical tranexamic acid is not super well studied. More research is needed. Compelling ingredient, but you know, for a cosmetic, it is what it is. So the cetyl tranexamic acid mesylate, maybe that's more stable. Maybe that gets into the skin a little bit more efficiently. Hard to say. Hard to say how it compares to tranexamic acid in terms of efficacy. It's a cosmetic ingredient. We don't always get really good data. But what else does it have going on that you might be interested in besides that ingredient? Which, as a side note, I've been using tranexamic acid in various skincare products for like a year now, and I really think it helps me personally. I think it helps me in terms of moisture retention, barrier function, and with redness. And you can check out my reviews of other tranexamic acid products here. But there's a lot. There are other things going on in this. You get quite a bit of bang for your bucks. This is like 12 bucks, I want to say. Not too bad. You get, of course, niacinamide, right? Niacinamide is in everything, but for good reason, especially in a product like this. So 4.5% niacinamide, which, as a side note, is a great percentage. Some products put a lot of niacinamide. Anything greater than 5% is kind of a reach, more likely to irritate people, not evidence-based for adding anything additional. So stick to percentages below 5% if you can. So I'm a big fan of just keeping it less than 5%. I mean, we know that works. Why complicate things? You know, it's not broken. Why fix it with more? 4.5% reasonable. So niacinamide is great for redness. It's great for the moisture barrier, and it also helps tackle dark spots because it disrupts the transfer of melanin pigment from the pigment-producing melanocyte cells in your skin to the neighboring keratinocytes, which represent the bulk of the cells in your epidermis. So that mechanism is unique in comparison to another ingredient in this, which is kojic acid. So kojic acid also helps with dark spots because it chelates copper, which is necessary for the enzyme tyrosinase. Tyrosinase is the melanin pigment producing enzyme, so it disrupts that. In other words, you're getting niacinamide and kojic acid, which work on different aspects of the pigment producing pathway, likely exhibiting, you know, some degree of synergy for better results results than either ingredient alone. Plus, you have the tranexamic acid in there, which might also be helping with hyperpigmentation through perhaps the barrier effect, perhaps having some anti-inflammatory effect, because if you're not aware, anything that drives inflammation in the skin will worsen discoloration. And it has licorice root. Licorice root is also really good for redness and for hyperpigmentation. It's a great discoloration tackling ingredient. And licorice root is also very soothing. It's anti-inflammatory. It's a really good ingredient too if you're someone who has facial eczema flare-ups, and licorice root has been shown to be helpful for soothing eczema by its anti-inflammatory benefits. That's why you'll find it actually in many of the Eucerin products, actually because of that, or its derivative. Then you have different compounds from the botanic extract centella, which are known to be anti-inflammatory, soothing, and helpful for supporting healing and barrier recovery. Plus you have panthenol, which is really quite moisturizing. So these are all really good ingredients. How does the product actually perform? In my experience on my face, I actually love this product. It's very lightweight, but it's moisturizing. It's not greasy, it's not oily. It's a thin texture. Products layer on top of it easily, whether it be something you're using in the daytime, like of course your sunscreen will go over this just fine. Never got any pilling in that regard. Also great at nighttime. And it spreads on the skin like a dream. It doesn't give you any slip or resistance. It is not oily. It doesn't have fragrance. I've rather enjoyed using this. I'm someone, my skin does well with niacinamide. I use a lot of niacinamide in my routine, but I definitely do note an improvement in overall skin tone. You know, there are some days where I don't use any niacinamide, and I do see a difference when I bring it back into my routine, including with this product. I think overall this is a great option for tackling uneven skin tone, discoloration, hyperpigmentation, and redness. But you have to have some background expectation going in. If you have post-acne, hyperpigmentation, or redness, or you have had some kind of inflammatory skin issue that has left the skin discolored, red, you have to think about a few things. The extent to which a skincare product is going to help depends on you being consistent with it and also being really, really patient. It will take significantly longer for dark spots, for redness to fade, depending on a few things. How good you are with sun protection is huge, especially for hyperpigmentation, but also redness and barrier issues. Also, the initial inciting event, whether it be an acne breakout or some type of eczema. How long that inflammatory issue went on untreated is a key driver in how long the discoloration is going to persist. Also, how severe that was, how inflammatory it was. Was it just a bit of mild irritation that left a dark mark? That likely will fade a lot faster than like a deep cystic pimple that was inflamed and maybe you accidentally squeezed, and by accident I meant it's hard to resist the urge. Don't do that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, the more insult to the skin, the longer that discoloration and redness are going to persist. A lot of people, for example, who have cystic acne, the redness is the thing that sticks around for a long, long time. Likewise, the hyperpigmentation, and is really, really frustrating. This can help, but don't expect it to work overnight. Maybe you might start seeing results in about 3 months, but it really does take time. The other big thing you need to be aware of before trying something like this and expecting it to do much for you is, does the skin condition that you deal with, does that continue to flare up for you? Are you doing treatment for that regularly? Is it under good control? Because so long as you continue to have flare-ups, it's kind of like dousing more gasoline on a fire and being like, why isn't it going out? Well, you got the fuel, that's why. So that's another thing that really makes a huge difference in a product like this doing anything for you. If you have age spots, sunspots, those can be a lot more stubborn and difficult to respond with pigment lightening ingredients such as what is in this. They may lighten a bit, but I wouldn't expect this product to erase those completely, especially, of course, if you are not protecting your skin from the sun. But oftentimes those sunspots, they can respond well to topical retinoids, but they tend to be stubborn and often require some sort of procedural intervention like a pigment laser or a chemical peel in office. How often can you use this? You can use this twice a day, morning and evening. After cleansing, apply it on. If you're someone in the morning, you don't wash your face, you can get up and put this on. Make sure the skin is no longer damp with product, and then put your sunscreen on over it, and you're good to go. You can put this on at night too, as part of your evening skincare routine after cleansing. It can go on before thicker moisturizers, before your topical retinoid. It can go after thinner, more liquid-based toners, essences. But if you put your topical retinoid on, you can also put this on over it, and you're likely going to get good absorption regardless. It's kind of one of those products that fits in the layering routine in, you know, many possible iterations of a routine. And provided you're not putting it on over a layer of petroleum jelly, which will limit penetration of anything, you're likely going to get decent absorption of some of these ingredients. In my opinion, this is another win from Peach Slices. I really have liked this, and I think they did a great job with this. Check out my review of their snail essence I did a couple of years ago if you're interested in more reviews from Peach Slices. But over the years, they have come out with some award-winning formulations that are underrated, really affordable. For example, they have a salicylic acid moisturizer that is amazing. Another one that I have reviewed for you all. So check that out if you missed it. But yeah, let me know in the comments, is this a product that you had on your radar, that you had seen? I think right now there are a lot of options out there for discoloration targeting serums that have a combination of niacinamide, tranexamic acid, licorice root, maybe a few others, maybe some barrier supporting ingredients as well thrown into the mix. For example, the Anua tranexamic acid serum I reviewed several months ago that has not only tranexamic acid and niacinamide, but also has vitamin B12, which is interesting because that can help you guys out who deal with a lot of facial itch. So that might be a product you might be more interested in if you've got flare-ups of eczema, but that product does have, I think, 10% niacinamide, so maybe more likely to burn, sting, and cause irritation. There's also the Haru Haru Dark Spot Go Away serum with tranexamic acid. That's also a great option. So check out some of my other tranexamic acid reviews. I will link some of them down below in the description box if you want to check out other types of products before you decide. But this has been great. I have no complaints with this, and I think they did a really great job with this. Anyway, y'all, on the end slate, I'm going to put one of my recent product review videos talking all things dark spots, namely thiamidol and Eucerin's new Radiant Tone line with thiamidol. So check that one out next, especially if you're dealing with hyperpigmentation. You don't want to miss it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.